Good morning, art lovers, friends to Signature Gallery. This is Matthew Sievers. I'm a new artist to Signature Gallery, just joining the team, very happy to be along. I actually have only been there a few months. I dropped my work off at the start of the COVID lockdown in Arizona. And I've come back to Idaho with my beautiful wife and 4 boys. And I've just been cranking to get out some nice work for the market, especially for Signature Gallery. But seeing as I've only newly arrived, I wanted to send out a quick video, kind of introduce myself, what I'm about, what my day-to-day has been like during the COVID craziness. It was actually an idea that Signature Gallery had approached me with, saying, hey, send out a video. All of our artists should be able to share a little bit what their day-to-day is like during this, I hate to say pandemic, as I feel it's quickly coming to an end. But you can see this piece behind me. This one shows a lot of what my work is about. I use a lot of transparent paint and scrapes and drips to create layers so you see down into the painting. Let me set this up here and I'll show you a couple of things real quick. So, as you can see the scale as I get next to it, it's a 48 by 60. And what I like to do is use light in a really natural way so that the color is beautiful. You relate to it, you understand it, you can feel the temperature, you can feel the time of day. And then I start using really big, bold, singular marks and build them up so there's so much atmosphere and depth. You can feel the dust and the haze and the piece. I'm really loving creating these abstract lens flares that continues to build on that depth and really engages the imagination and helps you relate to how we see the world as light enters our eye or our camera or whatever it may be. This piece really shows where I'm headed with my work, using contemporary mark making and abstracting to define a space that reads really natural, also pushing my colors into perhaps a more intense and unique direction. But you can see where the abstract marks, this is a simple bold scrape, and I cut in to define the tree and the form, and I scrape to create the mist and the haze of this darkness in the forest as the evening comes in. And that all builds to this campfire where you see a man he has a stance that is very at ease and confident, where he's prepared. It's gonna be cold, it's gonna be dark, and he's not worried. I really love the feeling of this piece, the message it has, and its abstract qualities that still read so natural. You can see I'm doing that really with most of my work. This piece is a 60 by 60 and the sky is really abstracted. The palette's quite intense and I love contrast, how dark the horizon reads here. And as the paint gets much thicker, much bolder in application as I build from the dark up to the light, and even using tools to scrape in what would read as a fence line that's catching sunlight, and it builds and builds where there's really fine details that your eye gets to find. And it's not all simply block-headed application. It's the beauty of the two. So I use a lot of different tools to paint to create really flat and smooth areas versus really clean lines, transparent scrapes and drags, the hazy look. This is like a glazed atmospheric haze inside that barn to create the illusion of light hitting dust and creating that a little extra layer of depth. And I love abstracting with light. These lens flares that I'm creating right now, I'm gonna build these up and show you one of the applications that I use for this. But this string is creating that secondary vanishing point to the light source rather than the visual vanishing point to a horizon like the lines in the concrete. Some of these other glazes, like this dark one here, these were scrapes, and like this was rolled for a repeated pattern in my sky. And I like some of those hard lines and geometric shapes against a more natural sky to just really give it some unique feeling and emotion. But this white here is gonna sit on top of all that. And my sky is very dry so that I can draw and remove the paint as it's applied. So this is a brayer, and you can see it's been used just enough that there's areas in it that aren't even picking up the paint, and I can push kind of hard, but that's all right. I'm gonna be working it back and forth. So I'm not gonna use my cheat tool since I'm carrying my phone here. I'm just gonna line it up and then we'll draw it in as we go. But I love, love, love bold application where instead of it reading timid, to pick up the biggest tool that you're willing to try and make a mark with is just mouth-watering to me in a painting. So, as I've built this up, there's areas that are left completely raw, areas that are really transparent, and it's just this great, subtle form. Some of the edges are already breaking up really nicely. Others are kind of hard, but this doesn't read as a lens flare. It is just a messy spot on my canvas. So I'm gonna get a little medium, one that's fairly gentle to not start breaking down the underpainting. And I'm just cutting this around. And when I applied it, I wanted to apply it so that the overall shape doesn't fill the space. It just mostly fills the space, as it will create soft edges on its own. And then as I start creating this sphere, there's a lot of play on the edges. And where one may start to feel kind of sharp, I don't mind that. Light will do that. But this edge being a harder line makes this edge that's so lost and found more interesting, and they play off each other because of the variety. It makes for a more interesting shape. I hope you liked this brief video. I apologize for the bad quality. It's not gonna be a Spielberg, but on my iPhone in my studio by myself, and even the grizzly quarantine beard, but it is what it is. I love talking about my art. I really enjoyed making this video. I'm really lucky to be able to sit in my studio during this time and do what I love and to create some artwork that I hope would touch someone else and that they could relate to. I have a lot of great pieces that I left with Signature Gallery that I'm really proud of. I love Arizona, the sunsets, the smell of the desert. I lived there for years. I go there every winter. I'm passionate about Arizona, though I'm in Idaho right now. I hope you can make it over there, or at least be able to see my work through their website. And hopefully you can relate to what I'm trying to do there to create the haze that you see in the desert and the dust and what makes those sunsets so phenomenal. But hopefully I'll be showing there personally in the near future, and that you can come by and have some questions for me and we can talk about artwork more on a personal level. But thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and I will see you then.